Willkommen zurück bei Lamplight City. Ja, wir sind bei dem Gerichtsmediziner. Gucken uns einfach hier ein bisschen um.
Well, at least he died with a smile on his face. Sort of. It looks rather fresh. There's a plaque at the base of the jar that says H. Putnam.
Okay, sagt mir jetzt ehrlich gesagt
I'm
nichts.
pretty sure I saw Edwards weighing his lunch on this once. I remember when Edwards used to keep his collection of preserved reproductive organs on this shelf. He must be getting soft in his old age. Or perhaps that's exactly what happened to his collection. Assorted lab equipment for setting things on fire or causing explosions. You know, the perfect way to pass the time.
Na klar, na klar.
I wonder if Edwards ever got around to fixing this typewriter. The letter E being out of alignment always made his reports a nightmare to read. It's important to keep your hands clean when dealing with dead bodies. After all, you never know where they've been. Until after the post-mortem exam, anyway.
Okay.
I feel sorry for the poor slob who has to clean that out.
Ja.
Seems to be empty for now. That's most definitely a good thing.
Oh, der hätte auch hier vor den Schädel am
Edwards
Tisch.
must have some very good friends in the department to have gotten this custom-made table. It does suit the room, though.
Einbalsamierungsmittel. Wir sprechen mal mit ihm.
Pardon me, Edwards.
Yes?
Erstmal hier. Wir gehen mal von unten nach oben.
You didn't examine Bill after he died, did you?
Ha! He wishes.
No, there was nothing inconclusive about his death. He died from impact after falling from the roof of a building. Why? Was there something else I should have looked into?
No, I was just curious.
As fond as I am of Edwards, it would have been a bit much for him to go poking around my insides.
So, Snelling got promoted to chief, did he?
Yes, not too long after you left. Personally, I think he took advantage of your situation to change things around here.
Was it really that much of a shock? Bill and I weren't exactly the most well-liked detectives on the force.
But you were respected. You two solved over 350 cases in 15 years. You were an institution.
Damn right we were. It's so easy for people to resent their more successful peers.
Ah, Edwards. Nice to know someone missed us.
Immerhin.
Keeping busy down here, Edwards?
Oh, you know me. I've always got my hands in someone.
Edwards always did have a way with words.
This postmortem was just a formality, really. The victim died of a gunshot wound to the head. Last week, though, we had a real kicker. An old man was brought in, and though he appeared quite dead, I was told that he'd been in a trance for over half a year.
Was?
Apparently, he was hypnotized right at the point of death, and somehow managed to remain alive, in a fashion. In any case, when I began performing the exam, his entire body decayed into a putrefied mess within minutes. It was fascinating.
Should you really be giving me these details, Edwards?
Oh, hell, I don't mind telling you, Miles. It's not like you're going to go tell Snelling. Besides, you're the only one who's come to see me all week. Dead people make lousy conversationalists.
Hey, I take offense to that statement.
I found this piece of burned cloth at the crime scene. Could you take a look at it for me?
What do you need me to look at exactly?
It appears to have some oily residue on it.
Interesting. I'm afraid I have my hands full right now, but you can feel free to use my workbench if you'd like.
To do what exactly?
Surely they taught you something about basic chemical analysis when you worked here.
Yes, well, I always let Bill handle the more technical aspects of our cases.
A real pity I'm not around to help you anymore, isn't it?
But I'll have a look and see if something comes back to me. I've got these human ashes from a crime scene.
Straight to the point. I knew I liked you for a reason, Fordham. Who do they belong to?
Desiree Lathan. She was a Gascon Grande Dame.
Oh, of course. I heard about that case. She was found burned in her home, wasn't she?
That's right.
I meant to go over there later today.
Well, then I suppose I've saved you the journey. Would you have a look at these?
Does this mean you're officially on the case?
Not as such. In fact, I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention I'd been here.
Ah, clandestine operation. Sneaking around under Snelling's nose.
I don't have much of a choice. I'm pretty much persona non grata around here these days.
Well, you're always welcome in my mortuary. Preferably while still breathing, of course. Anyway, I'll just take those ashes off your hands. I'm sure your social life will soon improve.
Yes, I was making quite the impression.
This is an interesting choice of container.
It was either that or carry them around in my bare hands.
Well, I'm a bit busy right now, but I should have something for you within the next couple of hours. But you do realize the information won't be exclusive to you. I'll have to pass it on to the detectives on the case.
Naturally. That just gives me more of an incentive to work quickly. Thanks. That's all I needed to know for the moment.
Anytime, Fordham.
Okay. Das heißt, wir dürfen jetzt an den Arbeitstisch und das Tuch untersuchen.
It's been ages since we got to do any type of chemical analysis. This will be grand!
Dr. Edwards, could you remind me what it is I'm meant to be doing?
Yes, of course. Go ahead and get as much of that oily residue from the cloth into the petri dish.
Okay. Wie, was ist denn das?
Good. Now add some of the chemical reagent in the red bottle to the dish.
Whoop!
Aha! The oil turned orange.
Yes! The reagent has caused a chemical reaction and changed the oil's color. Isn't science fun?
Science!
Wait, but how does this help me?
I have some samples of the most common types of flammable oils on the shelf. Go ahead and add them to the test tubes. Good. Now simply check each one with the reagent to see if you can find a match.
And if I don't find one?
Then I suggest going out and looking for more oil samples.
Okay.
Miles, the petri dish is empty.
Achso. Da ist gar nichts rausgegangen. Ich glaube nicht, dass wir Glück haben und da was finden jetzt sofort.
Well, oil be damned. Looks like that's not a match. Oh, you love it.
Okay, dann das nächste.
So much for kerosene being the culprit.
Okay, dann das schwarze.
Too bad. I would have bet on it being coal oil. Looks like ammonium chloride. Won't be of much use to us in this experiment.
Okay, das heißt, die drei sind es nicht. Das heißt, wir müssen was anderes finden. Ja, das heißt, wir müssen jetzt erstmal einen anderen Brandbeschleuniger oder andere anderes Öl sozusagen finden.
Got a moment?
Yeah.
That's it.
Ich dachte, hätte ich warte mal, vielleicht. Vielleicht, aber auch nur vielleicht. Kann man, wenn wir sie jetzt anquatschen.
Nothing more to ask her about.
Nein, natürlich nicht. Okay. Tja, wo könnten wir noch hin? Right Way, das ist ja der hier, aber bringt uns ja jetzt auch nicht so viel. Nicht die Bank nochmal.
Nothing else.
Nee. Okay. Was mir hier? Der Herr Brandwell.
A few more questions. Not.
So, über ihn selbst nur.
What made you decide to start this business?
I always wanted to be a journalist. I never had much luck with any of the local papers, though. So I decided to start my own. I admit it's not exactly what I wanted, but I like to think Brentwell magazine has found its own unique
Wie die
voice.
Bild-Zeitung.
Voice. More like a gurgling scream.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Brentwell.
The pleasure is all mine.
Okay. Das ist auch nicht. Vielleicht hier?
Welcome back.
I don't think there's anything.
Okay, die kann uns nicht weiterhelfen. Haben wir hier noch irgendwas? Geheimnisse des Tarot, Geister Äther. Ne, Voodoo. Riesenkrake, Konzession, Seelenwanderung. Astralprojektion. Hier ist es, glaube ich, auch nicht weiter mit drin, ne? Ne, okay. Was haben wir denn noch so? Hinweise. Verbranntes Tuch. Gut, da sind eben diese Rückstände drauf. Fertiger Artikel. Brief von Jonas Ascher.
I'll be good.
Ja, hau rein, tschüss. Okay, wenn wir jetzt vielleicht zurückgehen, vielleicht hat er jetzt die Ergebnisse schon? Vielleicht?
Pardon me, Edwards.
Yes?
Vielleicht?
Have you had a chance to look at those ashes I gave you?
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, there isn't much I can tell you. The victim burned to death at a very high temperature. These ashes are greasy and putrid because of liquefied fat from the body, which burned like a candle. As to what caused her burn, I cannot say without more evidence. I'm sorry, Miles.
It's quite all right, Edwards. I appreciate the information nonetheless.
Well, just so you don't...
Okay.
Thanks. That's all I needed to know for the moment.
Anytime, Fordham.
Was für einen Bericht haben wir jetzt gekriegt? Ah, hier. Schau beim Folgen der Verbrennung aufgrund des Feuers. Warte mal, können wir jetzt vielleicht zu dem... Hier, zu dem Anwalt und ihm das einfach mal zeigen?
Making your...
Yeah.
Perhaps
No? What?
a report from Dr. Malcolm Edwards, the city coroner, confirming Miss Lathan's untimely demise.
Let me see that.
Ja, nimm es.
Oh my. Wait one moment, would you?
Schön mit einer Bombe. Zack.
Martin, what is the meaning of this?
The gentleman who brought that is a private investigator. He's waiting outside to see you.
Send him in then.
You heard him, Mr. Fordham. You may go inside and see Mr. Usher.
Thank you
Alles
kindly.
klar. Was wäre denn hier?
So, a private investigator, are you?
That's right. Miles Fordham is my name.
Jonas Usher, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's all mine.
So it would seem that Miss Lathan has shuffled off the mortal coil, as it were.
I'm sorry to say that is indeed the case.
Please come in, have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. I only ask that you kindly wash your hands in the basin first, and limit what you touch in here.
This one seems a bit on edge, doesn't he?
Ein bisschen. Na komm.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. I appreciate your cooperation.
Na, kein Problem. Okay, was haben wir hier?
Is there
Bücher?
anything more boring than books on law? Just reading the titles is making me drowsy. Stern-looking lady.
Eine Lady? Okay.
Judging by how full these bottles are, Usher doesn't indulge much. What a waste. Usher seems to like keeping his guests at a distance.
Ja gut, er ist halt ja, so ein Germaphob oder wie die heißen, ne?
Mr. Usher, I have some questions for you.
And hopefully I have your answers.
Mr. Usher, I've noticed from your rules and habits that you seem to have a particular aversion to germs. Why is that, if I may ask?
I've been ill most of my life, Mr. Fordham. I was a sickly child, and unfortunately my condition hasn't improved with age. It's a miracle I'm still alive. That's why I'm so careful about exposing myself to germs.
I see.
How's my color? Do I look pale to you?
Not particularly.
I saw myself in the mirror this morning and thought I looked a bit peaked. Also, my leg has been hurting more than usual, which has been cause for concern.
Nah, you've really done
So
it,
ein
Miles.
Hypochonder so ein bisschen, ja?
Yes, well, moving on. What can you tell me about Desiree Lathan?
She was a lovely woman. I'm saddened to hear of her unfortunate passing.
How long had you been her attorney?
She retained me some 10 years ago, I believe.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, I remember I had just gotten over a bout of melancholia and been able to work in nearly a month. I didn't think I'd make it out of that, but luckily things took a turn for the better. Miss Lathan came to see me, and I've served as her attorney ever since.
Would you say Miss Lathan is a wealthy woman?
Indeed I would. Her estate is worth a significant sum. Of course, you understand that this is confidential information, so I cannot tell you the exact amount.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I found this letter in Miss Lathan's bedroom, which mentions that she recently changed her will. Could you tell me a bit more about the circumstances surrounding this change?
That's not an uncommon occurrence. People change their wills all the time. Relatives and friends fall in and out of favor constantly.
Had Miss Lathan made changes to her will previously?
No, this was the first time.
What change did she make exactly?
Just a change to her beneficiary. Nothing out of the ordinary.
And when did this change occur?
About 4 months ago, if I recall correctly. Yes, it was definitely in June, because I'd been in bed with a nasty stomach flu at the end of May. That was no fun, let me tell you. I think I lost nearly 6 pounds from the constant trips to the WC. Couldn't keep a thing down, and whatever did stay down soon came out the other end, if you get my meaning.
I'd say his meaning is regrettably impossible to avoid.
Who did Miss Lathan name as her new beneficiary?
Mr. Fordham, please! You know I couldn't possibly tell you that. There is such a thing as attorney-client privilege.
Wenn sie verstorben ist, dann ist sie technisch gesehen nicht mehr ihre Klientin. Sagen Sie mir jetzt oder ich werde auf Sie niesen.
I'm aware of that. However, Miss Lathan is deceased. Therefore, it stands to reason that she is in fact no longer your client.
True, but her estate is still in my hands. I'm not going to betray her trust just because she's dead.
About...
I told you, Mr. Fordham.
Do you not find it suspicious, Mr. Usher,
Mit
that
dem
Miss
Niesen, das
Lathan
heben wir uns
died
nochmal
under
auf.
such mysterious circumstances only 4 months after naming a new beneficiary? You said yourself she was wealthy. Does it not make sense that someone might have wanted her inheritance?
I suppose it's not entirely out of the question.
Right. So tell me the name of Miss Lathan's beneficiary so I can determine if this was, in fact, a murder.
Very well. It was a man named Roger DeVay.
Do you have any information on where I can find
Roger
him?
DeVay, den kennen wir noch
Only
nicht,
his
ne?
address. It's 775 Pumblechook Place in Chumley.
That'll do nicely. Thank you, Mr. Usher.
Okay.
Can you think of anyone who may have wanted to harm Miss Lathan?
No, I can't. What makes you think that someone actually killed her?
It seems the most plausible explanation.
Miss Lathan was getting on in years. It's likely she may have developed a case of pneumonia. That's the most common killer of the elderly, you know. I had it when I was younger. Most unpleasant. Constant coughing, spitting up phlegm, rattling in the lungs. Thankfully, I made a full recovery.
But supposing that was the cause of death, how would it explain the fact that her body was completely burned?
She was a smoker. Perhaps she was having a cigarette when she died and dropped it on the bed, causing it to catch fire.
I found no cigarette butts at the crime scene.
I'm merely offering my opinion, Mr. Fordham. You can take it or leave it.
I think we should leave it.
Genau, dann lehne ich es lieber ab.
Thank you for...
The pleasure is all.
Okay. Okay, das heißt, wir fahren jetzt mal zu dem Typen. Zu diesem DeVay, oder wie der heißt. Da ist er. DeVays Wohnung. Da fahren wir mal hin.
Did Usher give us the wrong address? This should be 775, but there's no building here.
Ist er das?
Hey, that's just like the one we had when I was a boy. Good old Rusty. He served us well.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Is this 775 Pumblechook Place?
Yeah, it would be if the building were still here.
Oh, I see. Might I ask you a few questions?
You can ask.
You look somewhat familiar. Didn't I see you protesting outside the Harris construction yard?
Stimmt.
Yeah, I was there. What of it?
Were you affected by the Ligeia disaster?
Well, nobody I know was killed, if that's what you mean.
So, why were you protesting the construction of the Lenore?
That Devons fella promised he'd buy us a meal if we stood in the crowd. And for a free meal, I'd do just about anything.
Okay.
Do you know Roger DeVay?
Know him? Of course I know him. He lives here with me.
He does?
Well, whenever he decides to come home, anyway. Rest of the time, I suspect he finds a way to sleep at his job. Me, I'd do the same, except I can't stand the smell of the horses.
Do you know where Mr. DeVay works?
Nah, he never told me.
What's your name, sir?
Me? I'm Herman. Herman Shaw.
How long have you been living here?
Oh, I've been here for ages. Since before the building got condemned and was torn down. They pretty much forced us out, you see, but a couple of us came back and set up here. Seemed like a good idea, and I had nowhere else to go. That's not so bad, except for when it rains. And I guess we'll have to bundle up a bit more when it gets cold. But other than that, it's like the place was still standing.
There's some of that classic chum ingenuity. Or maybe it's just delusion.
What happened to this place? Why was it condemned?
The building was old, in a pretty sad state, so the inspectors came by and said it was unfit for living. There was a whole lot of us here. Most were able to pick up and go, but a few of us stayed.
Why don't you go to a workhouse?
You wouldn't be asking if you'd ever been inside one. It's wall-to-wall people, children crying, sick folk coughing all over you.
But there's plenty of that out here, too.
Well, sure, but out here, there's freedom. Nobody telling you what to do except the odd copper. Not even many of them in this neighborhood. Besides, this is my home. Just because it's missing a few walls don't mean I ought to abandon it.
Okay. Ja gut, so Desiree Lathan brauche ich ihn jetzt, glaube ich, nicht befragen.
I thank you for...
Maybe give us a...
I'll consider it.
Neue
Yeah,
Gemälde.
those aren't half bad. Too bad they aren't finished. I wonder if they're going to be used to keep the fire going.
Sie hatte doch so ein Gemälde auch von sich in ihrer Wohnung.
By chum standards, that's practically a four-poster. I used to draw funny pictures of rich people on walls too when I was a kid. Never did a lick of good, but it would always make me feel better.
Vielleicht
frage ich ihn doch mal nach der Frau. Vielleicht weiß er, dass der die
Do you
gemalt hat
know a
oder
woman
so.
named Desiree Lathan?
Nah, I don't know many women. They're not too fond of my company. Well, I don't understand why. I always try to be a perfect gentleman. Guess it just don't got the charm. I've asked Roger to give me a few pointers. He's a big hit with ladies, you know.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. He no sooner looks at 'em than they're falling at his feet. Real natural, that one. Never brings it back here, though. Always winds up staying with him, getting a free meal and a soft bed out of it. Ah, well, the bohemian lifestyle ain't for everyone. Maybe someday my luck will change.
I'm sure it will change the day he decides to take a bath.
I thank you for your time.
Bruder, wie will er sich denn baden, wenn er hier auf der Straße lebt? Jetzt mal ernsthaft. Okay, das heißt aber, wir sind jetzt nicht wirklich weitergekommen. Gut, ich könnte vielleicht könnte ich bei der Polizei fragen, ob die den kennen. Das können wir vielleicht nochmal machen in der nächsten Folge. Ja, bis dahin würde ich sagen, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wir sehen uns dann in der nächsten Folge von Lamplight City. Bis dahin, auf Wiedersehen.